Hello Scorpio, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that Ace of Wands. Very nice, beautiful, and powerful. There's the Eight of Wands. So this is already a lot of fire energy. We're going to finish up with the path of the serpent here. I thought this was going to be all water. All right, so let's do a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to use the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the card that we're going to set aside. Okay, we're not going to look at this until the very end. And hopefully that card will tie everything together, give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. So let's look around here. Got major, major, fire, 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 air, water, 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 air. Interesting. Okay, a lot of fire and air, a lot of water and air. Don't see a lot of earth necessarily. We see some earth with this devil energy. This is the kind of hard-working earth energy that we need, right? So I think we have the earth fairly well covered. But this is pretty unique with fire and then a little bit of air, water and a little bit of air. This is a pretty unique spread, I've got to say. Right now, I feel like you are kind of getting the best idea of your life. I think that you have been, Scorpio, feels like you're just like one of the most creative signs, you know? I feel like every reading we have for you, we have the Four of Wands. So this was yesterday. This was our last reading, right? And that wrapped up nicely. You're a very creative individual. You have intense ideas, right? You take your fire, you manifest it, you know? And that's it. That's your vibe. That's your method, right? And I think that you're coming off of a very successful creation. Whatever you just did, whatever you did yesterday, real nice. Okay? But now what we're looking for right now is the next one. We're looking for the next one. And maybe this reading is kind of giving you some insight into how you come up with these great ideas, right? We see this art or temperance card at the very top, and I know I'm kind of all over the place, but this is just such a cool layout of cards. We've got the art or temperance card. This is the blending of the fire and the water. This is what you're trying to do. And what do we have with these cards? We have the blending of the fire and the water being blended in this air energy. Okay? And then being manifested down here with earth. This is like the perfect spread of cards. So this is you, I think, in the middle of your creative process. Whatever you're doing. Now, you might not even think yourself a very creative person, right? This could be something in business, in the work that you do, in the charity that you're involved with, the community organization, church, temple, lodge. It could be just in your family, in your home. Whatever you do, whatever your work is, right? Whatever you focus on and put your energy into every day, it is a creative process, okay? And I think this describes your process. I think we blend the fire with the water. We try to kind of harmonize it. And what does fire and water do? It makes air, makes steam. We have the air energy here. And then perhaps we condense that down into manifestation. It crystallizes here in the earth with this devil energy. Now, what does all this fire mean? Well, first is the idea. First is the spiritual impulse. This is your motivation. This is you waking up in the morning and just say, I've got something to do, right? This is, I think when you get into these creative modes, and I do kind of think it's a cycle. We have this wheel over here. I think it's a cycle, it's a pattern. I think when you're in the middle of this creative, creative phase, you literally like jump out of bed, When you're not in this creative phase, maybe you just kind of hit the snooze button, kind of take your time, you kind of have to drag yourself out of bed like I do some mornings. But when you're in the middle of this creative force, this creative wave of energy, you leap out of bed, right? You leap into your clothes, you leap into your car. It's very active, very motivated energy. You can't wait to get started with your day. And this is this is the fire energy. This is that motivation, that confidence, that just the eagerness to start working, right? And that's kind of being crossed by this 8 of Wands now. This is the quickness with which this kind of creative impulse hits you, It's maybe you don't even know when it's kind of coming, but you'll just kind of, in a flash, you'll get this idea, and then that's it. You're off to the races, right? It happens very quickly. And this card's telling me that you never really know where it's going to come. Maybe you have so many different areas of expertise. You're so good at so many things, you never know where this inspiration is going to come from. What is going to be your motivation this time around? So you're someone that has to really look everywhere. You immerse yourself in so many different things. You probably have a wide variety of interests and hobbies, skills, things that you're trying to learn, pursuits, a lot of different things. I think your energy can be easily placed into any area, any field, any career, any hobby or sports, even anything at all. You probably have a lot of skill with a lot of different things, because you never know, and you probably are very very extroverted when you're in these modes, because you have this motivation, and now you just you're out in the world as much as possible, talking to as many people as you can, because you're getting that inspiration. You're getting your next big idea. You can feel that with all of this fire going into this, you're kind of mixing up a special potion, and we don't know what it's going to be at the end, but we just know that we need a lot of fire in there. So you're probably out taking in a lot of new experiences, trying to do as many things as you can until something just grabs you, right? Something just grabs you. And I kind of want to talk about the water energy next, because I feel like that's the next ingredient. We have the fire energy, and then also, I guess, the fire energy from yesterday. This is your understanding that the cycles happen. So, it's this repeated process. The more times we do something, the more we can kind of anticipate it, the more confidence we have that it's going to happen again, right? If something can happen one time in the universe, it can happen multiple times, okay? So this, I think, gives you a lot of confidence. Your past successes, your past creations, right, give you motivation. So that's another bit of fire energy into this cauldron that we're looking toward, that is where we're mixing up our special brew, our special potion. So we're just going to put that like that. So now the water energy needs to go in there too. Well, the first thing is your general energy, a 2 of Cups. This is you being in love with love, being in love with connecting with people. This is you out in life looking for joy and bliss and pleasure and connection, right? This is you being fully present when you're just eating a piece of fruit, right? Or you're just like looking at the clouds, or you're standing in line for a cup of coffee. Everything has the potential to be that kind of spiritual experience. where you feel absolutely connected with what you're doing, with the environment. Everything is just one in that moment, right? That's love. That's you being fully immersed in what you're doing and feeling like you and everything around you, and in that moment is just one big ball of happy light, right? And that's the connection, and that's what you're looking for. And that is the inspiration and the motivation for your work, for your purpose. That's where you get this sense of destiny, of meaning, right? This is some water energy that needs to go into our cauldron. Now the next one is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is something, this one's a little bit more difficult to talk about, because this is sometimes those things that we want to connect with, you know, that we might enjoy connecting with a little too much, and we might indulge in it for its own sake, right? So this is kind of a tightrope walk, because on the one hand, you could be so immersed in this that we forget to put this in our cauldron, in our retort, in our alchemical vessel. We could forget. We could just be kind of lost in this indulgence, you know, lost in this sensuality, in this experience of the senses, forgetting that this is all part of our creative process, or whatever work that you're doing, you know, whatever your work is. So this is us getting kind of lost in the forest, getting lost in our environment. We're out there for a reason, but we have to remember to go back home and bring our ingredients, you know, back home. We're out, you know, hunting for mushrooms or something, and we get lost out there. We need to remember to bring them back, throw them in the pot. Because these things, these 7 cups in themselves have the potential to be misused, overused, or abused. You know, these kinds of substances, maybe. These kinds of indulgences, these impressions that we need, that we allow ourselves, but for a purpose. But these things by themselves are distractions, right? These things you can get lost in these, and it'll pull you away from what we're trying to do. So these are also things that need to go in our cauldron. Okay, these are things that you may know about yourself, that, and maybe this isn't even the indulgence in those things, but the desire to go after those things. The temptation is there. We have to sacrifice that. We have to put that in our cauldron and cook it up. And then we've got the 3. This is similar to the 7 of Cups, right? This is about kind of celebration. This is about, you know, the champagne is flowing. You know, this is about really feeling good with other people. This is feeling so good within yourself that, you know, you're out here sharing that feeling with others, and they're feeling so good they're sharing it with you, and it's a big giant ball of happy light, right? It's that infinite moment where everybody is connected, and everybody, it's like no words have to be spoken, everybody just feels the same way. You know, it's a real abundance of love energy. And this is one of those cards where it's like, this is almost the goal itself. Almost the goal. Because this is a 3, right? It's pretty close to the source. It's pretty close to the Ace. It is, it's an understanding of perhaps some of your motivation for the work that you do, for wanting everyone to feel good, right? This is kind of the opposite of suffering, right? The opposite of suffering, alleviating suffering for those people around you. And this, it takes a kind of a somber note here now, because this is the last of the water energy that goes into our cauldron, right? Because it's almost like we have to put everything in there. Even all of this love energy, we have to almost sacrifice it all for the work that we're doing. That brings us to the 3 of swords here, the air energy. This is the kind of painful understanding that, yes, everything that you do, everything that you love, everything that you enjoy, everything that you are, goes into this work that you do, right? Because for whatever your purpose is, whatever you are trying to create, everything is part of that. Everything is devoted to that, right? Even if we're out here in the world and we're feeling good with all of our loved ones, our pets, our plants, our people, that water energy is flowing, we know that this is something that we eventually have to go back home to our kitchen, our laboratory, our workshop, and do this work. Put it all together, let it all cook inside of us so that we can produce whatever it is that you're doing. You know, like I said, you're an intensely creative sign, and every reading that we have for you is all about this creativity and how you do it, and how I think each reading is a little glimpse into your process. Just a little peek, you know. But I think it's something that is a little bit, not lonely per se, but a little bit isolating perhaps. And we might as well deal with both of the air here. Because this is kind of now, we're alone in our laboratory and we're doing the work, right? We put everything into our vessel, into our oven here, into our cauldron. And now it's just kind of a waiting game a little bit. It's kind of just the toil. It's just the kind of solitary and lonely work, right? This is the maybe the sorrow of the artist, right? You know, the struggle of the artist, I guess. So much love for everyone and everything, so much experience, so much depth to you, but it isolates you a little bit because everything is for your work, right? Everything is part of your art. So it may be a little bit isolating in some ways. And I don't fully understand it. I don't consider myself much of an artist. You know, I'm not claiming to understand exactly what all of this means for you. I'm telling you the feeling that I have from it. Okay? And I feel like this is part of your process. And with the 8 of Swords here, I feel like we're waiting for that one final production, that one final piece that you're working on. That's going to break you out of maybe the need for this continual kind of creative cycle, right? Maybe there is one kind of breakout accomplishment that you need. And maybe every cycle, every round of this is your attempt to get that one big breakthrough, that one kind of final masterpiece, your magnum opus, right? That's going to release us from this cycle, perhaps. You know? Anyway, we've got the devil energy. This was pretty straightforward. This is you doing the actual work. This is you molding the clay into the sculpture. This is you mixing the paint and stretching the canvas and painting away. This is you digging the hole. This is you nailing the boards together. It's the physical work, right? It's the labor of your physical body that's going to continue until you've produced whatever this is. Okay, pretty straightforward. But now let's look at that mystery card. Maybe the mystery card will help us see the bigger picture, maybe. Maybe this will be the tower energy, right? Maybe this will represent that breakthrough or that magnum opus. It could be maybe a 6 of discs. It could be an empress. It could be the universe or the world card, since we're using the Smith-Waite Tarot. Let's just see what it is. Oh, it's the 3 of Swords again. The 3 of Swords again. So we got a doubling of the 3. So I feel like this is, and I don't mean to end the reading on a somber note. I didn't want to have a down note at the end. I don't do that intentionally. But I feel like this doesn't really have to be a melancholy note. It doesn't have to be a down note. Because this is perhaps the love and the joy that you find. It's the deeper understanding of your process. So it's not sorrowful. It's not lonely or sad. It's intensely joyful. Even if it is maybe kind of solitary. You're the artist and you go through these processes and you create. You probably have a large network of friends and family and loved ones. We went through all this water energy where you're out in the world, and the fire energy too. You're out, you're involved in things, many hobbies, a lot of friends, a lot of activities. But essentially it's a solitary, more isolated, more sequestered kind of creative artist's existence. But maybe that is where you find the joy. Right? Maybe that is the joy that you're creating. By putting all of those experiences into this intensely private work that you do. At least the internal portion of it is very, very private work. So maybe it's not sorrowful. Maybe this is the deeper understanding that that really is the true meaning and motivation for you. This is a higher understanding. It may look like sorrow and sadness on the outside, but that's kind of the uninitiated view of it, right? I want to look at the I Ching. I want to ask the I Ching for a hexagram. These are the 64 hexagrams that represent the wisdom of the ancient Chinese sages and their connection with spirit. And I know this is not the traditional way to cast a hexagram, but I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. And I just want to see what insight or what our parting words can be today, that maybe we can take some of this wisdom and apply it to our situation. Maybe it's going to be something that we have to meditate upon for a while before we fully understand it. That feels right. 29, repeating chasms. This is danger on danger. Right? This is, well, let me read the hexagram. This is water over water, and water always represented like an abyss or a pit. So it's kind of, to me, it's like the doubling of this. It's danger on danger. It's hazard upon hazard, right? But maybe this is where you thrive. This is where you really emerge as a confident spiritual being, right? Maybe that's where you really, really shine. It says, repeating chasms. There is truth and confidence. A connected heart creates success. Movement brings honor. So it's almost like, we have the idea here with a connected heart, right? And it's fun that the symbolism here is the heart. So I feel like it is the movement through this process that you feel is your calling in life. And that's where maybe you feel this sense of, what does it say? Honor. Movement brings honor, right? So going through this process, you feel like you're fulfilling the purpose and meaning of your life, and that brings you honor, right? Now on the back, there's some text on the back too. It says, sometimes you fall into the swirling, unknowable dark, and the only way forward is to accept the truth of the present moment and trust in your inner knowing. Stay in communication with your heart and creative source. Then movement forward shows courage and commitment, as well as a test of your convictions. What are you sure of in your heart when nothing else is certain? And how can you flow on and through the dark? So I feel like you're flowing through these Three of Swords, this doubling of the danger here, kind of, right? And that's where you find honor. That's where you find meaning. And I think this is what you're sure of. That this is your process, that this is your art, right? Interesting. We always have the most intense readings for Scorpio. I'm so intrigued by the Scorpio energy. Let me know if this is resonating with you, all right? We're going to do an extended reading. If you would like to stick around for that, just click on the link that's right up there. That'll give you access to every extended reading, not just for Scorpio, but for every zodiac sign. I want to thank you again for going on this journey with me. Thank you for letting me read the cards for you. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.